I made the mistake of going to my university's health clinic the other day. You can't go in there without being greeted by at least one bulletin board full of hate-filled feminist propaganda. I knew it was coming, and sure enough, there it was, their newest campaign. Hashtag That's So 6%. They call themselves Respect, or Rape Education Services by Peers Encouraging Conscious Thought. I prefer more respectable organizations like Community Organized Compassion and Kindness myself. But anyway, their little posters, as well as their website, which I've linked below, explain their campaign. I quote, "That's so 6%. What is 6%, and does it really matter? When it comes to rape and sexual assault, 6% means a lot. Did you know that research has found that 6% of men meet the criteria for rape or attempted rape?" Lisa Miller, 2002. Considering the total male population of the United States, that's about 8.4 million men who are perpetrators of sexual violence. Furthermore, did you know that most of these men are repeat offenders responsible for multiple rapes? Did you know that 25% of college women and 20% of women in general are victimized by sexual violence? Wow, think about that. 6% of men are sexually assaulting 20 to 25% of women? How can such a small percentage of men create such an epidemic plagued against women? How does this happen and go unrecognized? We live in a culture in which attitudes, beliefs, and behaviors dismiss rape as less than what it actually is. We blame victims, hence excusing perpetrators. We believe myths that overlook perpetrators. We encourage a culture of rape by ignoring behaviors that support degradation, victim blaming, misogyny, and feed into the power and control craved by rapists. Next time you see an inappropriate gesture, think about how that supports the 6% of men who rape. Next time you hear a misogynistic joke or remark, think about how it supports this 6%. Next time you watch a media clip centered on sexism and degradation, think about how it supports this 6%. Next time you witness rape culture in any form, think about how it supports this 6%. Next time such attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs are present, let others know, that's so 6%. Be the cultural change and say, that's so 6%. When you see it, say it. That's so 6%. That last line is right above the picture on your screen. So 6% of men are either sexual assaulters or attempted sexual assaulters. When witness to rapey behavior, it is your duty to say, that's so 6%, implying the gentleman in question is a fucking rapist. I normally try so hard to keep my mouth shut, but this time I let my nurse know the reason why my blood pressure was elevated. I also pointed out we just had another false assault accusation here at the university. That's a fun story on its own, and probably a future video. When a sexual assault is reported, the whole university gets an email. That just happened this spring. The same thing happened last spring, too. Both times, within a week, campus police sent a follow-up email saying the claim was false and the woman withdrew her story. For anyone counting, for the years I've been at this university, false sexual assault allegations outnumber sexual assaults by a score of 2-0. Just saying. Maybe 6% of men are rapists. It's possible. People can be messed up if you haven't noticed. If it is true, though, then you probably have roughly 6% of women who are rapists, too. Furthermore, you would have, by a good estimate, about 6% of women being false rape accusers as well. They have to leave that kind of stuff out, otherwise they wouldn't be good sexists. I mean feminists. Are we as a species really that fucked up? Nope. Say I'm in a relationship and the nice lady initiates sexual activity while I'm out of it and not entirely enthused. According to the same source that gave these feminists their 6% statistic, she would be a rapist. Or sexual assaultist, if you prefer. That study is that of Lisa Miller, 2002, linked below. Repeat rape and multiple offending among undetected rapists, as published in something called Violence in Victims. I'm more of a Journal of Applied Physics kind of guy. It bugs me that other people get to write such fluff and garbage. How do they find out how many rapists there are? They just ask nicely. Who wrote the questions for them to ask? The paper explains. A researcher by the name of Koss. That's right, Mary fucking Koss, Miss 1 in 4 herself. The name jumps right out at you. She's cited ad nauseum in the paper. Okay, well, once would be enough to induce nausea, but let's just say she was cited a lot. Bias established. But back to the poster. Let's go over this garbage. 8.4 million rapists in the United States. Wow, that's scary. Looks like to get that number, someone just threw that 6% against the male population of the country at the time of the study, about 140 million. So don't be too scared. Roughly a third of those 8.4 million would-be rapists are little children. Then they throw in some 1 in 4 for good measure. Can you imagine there are still people out there who haven't heard of Mary Koss and don't know that this stat is bullshit? Next time someone brings up 1 in 4 to you, just answer. You know, only about 1 in 4 of that 1 in 4 actually considered themselves to be victims of a sex crime. Even if we believed 100% of claims, that stat would still only be 1 in 16. How does this happen and go unrecognized? Dude, who overlooks rape? Ask any victim of a false accusation. That shit is taken as seriously as possible. Then comes the rape culture. Rape, rape, rape. The poster says, we live in a rape culture in which attitudes, blah, blah, blah. The later edited website version just says, we live in a culture in which, blah, blah, blah. Some aspiring young feminist actually thought they were using the word rape too much. Kudos to her or him. They also changed dismiss rape as less being less than it is to dismiss rape as less than it actually is. So some grammatical typos were still around when they printed the posters. Come on, feminists, get your shit together. Here we go. Examples of rape culture. First, blaming victims for how they're dressed. Does anyone actually do this? I think I see what's going on. They're confusing people giving good safety advice with blaming the victim. There's a big difference between, bitch, don't dress like a hoe or you gonna get raped, and bitch, don't dress like a hoe or you gonna get raped, it's gonna be your own damn fault. See what I did there? That's our second example of rape culture. Making jokes. Our third example is inappropriate usage of the word rape. Really? I'm fucking triggered. How about false rape accusations? That would be the only truly inappropriate usage of the word rape. That would be an instance where words matter, and words can hurt people. Lastly, we have taking advantage of someone who is incapacitated. That picture takes me back to the don't be that guy days. Good times. I'd reply to their point, but I would be doing so from behind the shadow of the magnificent Don't Be That Girl campaign. I cannot improve upon it. Bonus time. I lied when I said lastly. The poster has a couple extra goodies that didn't make it onto their site or the previous picture. No rape t-shirts, people. I know, I want that shirt now too. And no fun comments such as, why are girls so scared of rape? Y'all should feel pride that a guy risked his life in jail just to fuck you. Hey, the comment makes a good point. University activism is extremely important. Feminists have a monopoly at present. They are free to take over my university's health center because they're an official university organization. I'm not allowed to post anything. We desperately need official men's issues groups to counter them. Please find others on your campus and start something.